Financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
It's time for Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Let's go live to the stadium in Bismarck, North Dakota. It's time for Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Well, thank you, Nick Hallberg, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network, as we've got another full show for you here this morning, as we're going to talk a little basketball, a little hockey, a little wrestling, and then we'll talk, as much as we can about high school sports in the state of North Dakota. As this morning, our first guest will be Bo DIEGEL. He's the head coach of Linton HMB, as they're en route to take on Central Cass today. Also got a special guest coming up at 10:35, former Bismarck High football player and NDSU Bison national champion. We'll talk with BRAYDEN Thomas as he gets set, getting himself ready for the East-West Shrine game coming up. And then also we'll talk with JADEN Shook from BOWMAN County, the head girls basketball coach. And we'll do double dip as we'll talk with Nick Walker. Both those two teams finding themselves in the most recent poll, the head boys coach from Bowman County. Then we'll talk with Dan Huntley from the University of UMARY, the head hockey coach, as they continue to roll. And then we'll have a chance to talk with Adam Aho, the head wrestling coach on the University of UMARY. And then we'll round out the show with the executive director of the North Dakota High School Activities Association, Matt FETSCH, as this week some things came down as far as the football plan that's kind of been up in arms across the state of North Dakota, to say the least. And we'll find out a little bit more about what that decision was made this past week from the North Dakota High School Activities Association. Well, last night we certainly hope that you had a chance to tune in, as we had a couple of good basketball games for you on the PSP Network. Last night, it was a battle of 1 versus 2 on the girls' side and a battle of 1 versus 3 on the boys' side. Century and Bismarck High doing battle at the Carl Gard Gymnasium, and boy, what an atmosphere that was last night, as certainly two teams that battled hard, went up and down, great basketball game. And this time, Century got the better end of the Demons as they defeated Bismarck High 85-79. And, boy, I tell you, that's not going to be the last time those two teams play. And it was a wild one last night. But Century comes out with the victory, and they move their conference record to 9-1, and they are 10-1 overall. Other action, St. Mary's wins a 2-point game at Legacy, 61-59. And also on the boys' side, I do believe that the Williston Coyotes, they got a victory last night. There's no score listed on the site here. But, yes, the Williston Coyotes got a big win last night over Turtle Mountain, as they defeated Turtle Mountain 80-67. So the Williston Coyotes get their 4th win of the season. And today, the only action is Mandan will travel to Minot, barring hopefully the weather will hold up for that one, as Mandan will be at Minot. As we set you the most recent standings in the West Region, as Century leading the way at 9-1, Minot High at 8-1, Bismarck High 9-2, St. Mary's 5-4, and then Legacy, Mandan, and Dickinson all tied at 5-6. Jamestown 4-5, Williston 4-8, Turtle Mountain 3-7, and Watford City winless. But a couple big games coming up this week for you, as we'll have one on Tuesday on the PSP Network. Legacy will be over at Mandan, but one on Tuesday night. Minot High will travel down to take on the Bismarck Demons, as Minot High and Century, the only 2 teams to knock off Bismarck High this year. So that should be a fun one at Bismarck High, and then Century will be out in Dickinson on Tuesday. And a reminder, coming up today on the PSP Network, you can find that Mandan-Minot game. Also, Todd Dowmers will be over in Mandan. Him and Lane Sedevy will have the call for you, as it'll be a hockey. It'll be on the frozen pond today. Legacy will take on Mandan, and you can hear that right here on the PSP Network. Another action last night in the EDC. On the boys' side, it was Red River over North 62-61. Central knocked off Fargo South 67-56, and Davies, the number 4 team in the state, knocked off knocked off Moorhead 85-78. On the Class B side on the boys, Bowman County, again, we'll talk with their head coach, a win last night over Grant County Mott Region 77-57. Beulah all over Richardson Taylor 80-12. Hart River over Newtown 59-36, and Flasher knocks off Standing Rock by a score of 73-58. UND defeated last night in college hockey. As we turn our attention now to the girls' side of things on the basketball front. And again, a game you heard right here on the PSP Network, Century in a battle last night. Give the Demons credit. They hung with Century, but Century pulls away late. And Century wins that one 65-57. Legacy knocks off St. Mary's 70-52. And Minot continues to roll with a 22-point victory over the Mandan Brays by a score of 88-66. No girls games on the docket today. Coming up next Tuesday, again, Legacy will be at Mandan. We'll have that one for you. St. Mary's at Watford City. Minot High will be at Bismarck. And Century will be at Dickinson. So the West Region standings look like this. Century remains undefeated and on top. They are 9-0 in the conference. Minot High 8-1, Bismarck 8-2. Then Legacy at 6-4, Jamestown 5-4, Mandan 5-6, St. Mary's and Turtle Mountain 2-7, and Dickinson and Watford City 1-8. So a log jam on both sides, and the boys and the girls in that 4, 5, and 6 spot. And those will be interesting to watch as those play out here the rest of the way. And the EDC side of things, on the girls' side, it was Red River over North 60-41. And in overtime, South beat Grand Forks Central 57-55. And Davies over Moorhead 71-43. Valley City Devils Lake postponed last night. Beach knocks off Kildare 64-37. And Shiloh Christian all over Solon 73-24. On the college front last night, it was Concordia St. Paul on the women's side over UMARY 79-58. And the men come up with a big victory over Concordia St. Paul by a score of 68-66. So West Region continues to roll on as we get closer and closer to the tournament times right around the corner, coming up in the first part of March. And certainly we'll be able to we'll follow. We got a lot of games left to cover, but we'll have a lot of tournament action for you right here on the PSP Network. As we talked about today, you'll hear the call of boys hockey. Mandan at Legacy, that'll be I'll drop the puck at 3:15 at that one, and I'm guessing that's probably going to be about a 2 let's say 2:45, 2:50 pregame show with Todd Domrey's and Lane Sedevy. Also going on hockey day weekend in Jamestown. That taking place today as well. Century and Grand Forks Central and Bismarck High and Grand Forks Red River will do battle in that one. Action yesterday, Bottineau Rugby over Hazen-Beulah 9-2 in Jamestown in a no contest over Devils Lake 2-0. On the wrestling front, and boy, I tell you what, I've tried to effort some of these wrestling coaches because there's some pretty good wrestling teams going at it, but unfortunately today they've got some big tournaments going on as they are in Fargo for the Fargo Metro duels. But Bismarck High, Century, certainly two teams at the tops. Bismarck High 7-0, Century 5-0, a young wrestling team. But hopefully next week we'll get a chance to visit with some of these wrestling coaches. Williston sneaking up. They're at 3-1. They've won their last two. Minot 4-2. Dickinson 2-1. Watford 3-2. And then Legacy and Jamestown, Mandan, St. Mary's, and Turtle Mountain winless in the conference. But as we said, the Fargo Metro duels taking place yesterday and today, and hopefully we'll get a chance to visit with some of those coaches coming up. Coming up next week right here on the PSP Network. We talked about we're going to talk a little Class B basketball. Let's take a look at the most recent Class B boys and girls basketball poll on the boys' side. Four Winds Minnewacan continues to lead the way at 7-0. Kindred in number 2 is North Border 3, Enderlin 4. Those top four have not changed. Ellendale moves up a spot to number 5. Central Cass jumps up 2 to number 6. Powers Lake moves up 2 from 9 to 7. Flasher drops from 5 to 8. As they're 10-1. Thompson not ranked last week, and also Bowman County not ranked as they sneak in at 9 and 10. Others receiving votes: Hazen, Lemoore, Litchville, Marion, Hillsborough, Central Valley, North Star, Dunseith, Shiloh, and yep, I mentioned it last week. As you can bet that these guys are going to receive some votes, and they did. The Standing Rock Warriors receiving votes, as well as Surrey. That's the 7th Class B boys basketball poll. The 8th Class B girls basketball poll looks like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4 have not changed. Kindred 1, Four Winds Minnewacan at 2, Central Cass at 3, Rugby at 4, and Grafton at 5. All those 5 did not switch spots from the previous week. Garrison moves up a spot from 7 to 6. Edgeley Culm Montpelier jumps a spot from 8 to 7. Thompson moves up a spot from 9 to 8. And Linton HMB drops from 6 down to 9. And Bowman County sneaks in, as they were not ranked last week, at that 10 spot. Shiloh Christian, Lemoore, Litchville, Marion, Langdon, Edmore, Munich, and Hatton Northwood all receiving votes in the latest Class B girls basketball poll. And as we talked about today, we're going to have a chance to talk with our coach coming up in a few minutes, the head coach of Linton HMB, Bo DIEGEL, as his team is en route to Castleton, North Dakota, as they will have a chance. They will have a chance to see where they stand, as they will take on Central Cass. Earlier in the year, they took on the Kindred Vikings, and Kindred all over Linton HMB 67-44. We'll find out more about the team that Bo has this season, and certainly a team that is a carryover from that volleyball season. So it'll be fun to talk with Bo DIEGEL, and we'll do that as we'll take our first time out here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. When we come back, we'll talk with the head coach of Linton HMB, Bo DIEGEL. Back with more after this timeout on the PSP Network.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz, zzz?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
At Schatz Crossroads, we make 8 gallons of homemade ranch dressing every day, so you can smother your dinner salad with it, dip those crispy golden French fries in it, and dunk your breaded chicken strips. You can even cover your... Wait, no. You can't put ranch on steak. Or can you? Schatz Crossroads. Don't forget the ranch.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists. Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network, and we are live at the Stadium Lodge as, again, if you're looking for a place today to watch some NFL football, we'll make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Full service specials going on, menu. Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here today at the Stadium Lodge. Well, we roll into our first guest this morning, and joining me on the line right now, I believe, is the head coach of the Linton HMB Lady Lions, Bo DIEGEL. Bo, good morning. Thanks for joining me this morning. How are you?
Morning. Good. How's it going?
Well, good. And I know today, boy, I tell you said earlier you were going to be en route, and it's just not a little game today. I guess it's going to be a true test to see where your basketball team is as you're on your way to Castleton, North Dakota to take on the number 3 ranked team in the state of North Dakota.
Yes. Well, I got some good news and some bad news. Good news is, that would have been a good game. Bad news is we ended up postponing it because of the roads.
Oh, okay. Well,
so that was kind of some late-minute changes, and we've been busy this morning figuring everything out. But, yes, it was going to be exciting, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make that work today.
Well, I guess there is our first cancellation talking this morning that I've heard of about, whether or not I know some teams were supposed to play around here, but there you have it. The roads must not be good across the state. I know it's snowing in town here, but unfortunately that game got postponed. But nonetheless, Bo, I guess certainly let's lead into talking about your basketball team, and let's start this. I know you're about 11 games into this season right now, and let's go back to when you started this season. I mean, here's you had a team coming back just like the volleyball team, and a lot of those girls rolled over, I'm sure, from the volleyball court to the basketball court, and the success that you guys had, last year. So you knew coming back you're having a pretty good team, and last year you finished in 20-3. You won the district. Unfortunately, a tough loss in the region, but I mean, talk about what you thought this team was going to be, and do you feel that they are where you felt they can be at this stage of the season?
Oh yeah, I was excited to get into this year and get games going. As you said, we have some pretty good volleyball players on our team, so the start to our season was a little unusual just because we got pushed back. We didn't have those volleyball players for the first couple weeks. They were still playing out their state tourney. They ended with a great season there, and then we started good right up until Christmas. We were about 5-6-0, and we have 4 seniors, and so 4 people that played a lot of minutes last year coming back, and a couple of them are some really good guards and a couple 1,000-point scorers. So I knew that we would have experience from our guards and from shooting and from scoring in a lot of places, and that led us. I mean, we had a good start. We dropped 1 game to Kindred. Didn't play our best. We needed to play a little bit better that game, and then we kind of got back on track, and we dropped 1 recently to Harriet Selby, and they're a good team. They played hard. We could have played a little better that game, and then we had a big win last night against Kidder County, a district rival there. So that's at least a little bit of story of our season, and I would like to attribute that to our senior leadership and their willingness to come in and out of practice every day. And, they know what it's like. They've been successful in volleyball and basketball. You got to come in, work hard. It doesn't just magically happen.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And I think, when you look at that, Bo, is success breeds success. And when you have, something that's not easy to do, when you have a group of young ladies that go back-to-back and win the state volleyball championship, I mean, I can't. I mean, the leadership and the work ethic that they're able to bring to some of these younger girls in the basketball program, I'm sure you see that just carry over immensely.
Oh yeah, for sure. So some of the things, like if you're going to be an athlete, that carry over would be like your work ethic, your dedication to your craft, being able to do your job, because it don't matter the sport. I mean, you can't have 5 players out there trying to score 30 points, or you can't have all the players trying to get 20 rebounds. Like, you just got to figure out what you're good at and trust your teammates. And our senior leaders do a good job of keeping that trust and having a positive attitude. I also would like to say that, like, this is, well, we had a weird year 2 years ago with COVID, but this is kind of the first year where the volleyball and basketball seasons ran together, and that is not easy on those girls. So, having to go from August all the way to March straight, I mean, I got to give credit to them because, putting myself in their shoes, that'd be a really tough situation. They really didn't get much of a break at all.
Yeah, and certainly, and very well stated. And I guess, Bo, let's go back to whether you want to or not. I'm going to take you back to that game. Really the first true test that you guys got, on the basketball floor was against that Kindred team, and a team that has had a lot of success over the years. And I mean, just maybe talk about, 67-44. And, maybe at that stage you said that was on December 30th, we're still in between the break there. What did you learn about your basketball team in that loss to Kindred?
One thing that we learned after that game, and us coaches have been hitting home pretty hard, is we play some teams early in the year that were not as talented as Kindred, and we kind of just went into that game hoping it would be like, oh yeah, I mean, they're a good team, but we'll be fine. And they kind of came out, and right away in the first quarter, we were like, holy cow, what just happened? So, what we've been really preaching since then is you gotta be ready to play. You can't just walk into a game and expect us to get all the points and rebounds. And they came out and they hit us kind of in the teeth, and we punched back a little bit in the second half, but it was a little bit too late. So you can't give up a half a quarter. You can't give up a full quarter if you're playing, a well-coached team like Kindred, and they got some good players, and they're good basketball players too. That's what I said after the game, is you can't be surprised when you're playing 5 girls on the court that know how to play.
Yeah, very, very well stated. And true, when you look at that, just the adversity of these girls, you saw that on the volleyball side. They go out and North Border gets them on the volleyball court, and then they get another shot at North Border and end up beating North Border to win the state championship. And I'm sure after that game, your girls probably kind of regrouped, and you got into the new year, and now probably said, well, you know what, we want another crack at those guys. And unfortunately, the only time you're going to get that is if you get into the state tournament. But I'm guessing that probably the mentality that your girls took coming out of that one as well.
Yeah, and I know this group, they're really good at being able to regroup. You use that word, regroup, just kind of settle down and get back to work. And they're not a team that has an ounce of quit in them, and they're not a team that, like you said, back down. But they got us one game, and it's sports. It's highly competitive, and we gotta be able to play better that game. But if by chance we see him again, we'll be ready.
Yeah, and we just got a couple of minutes left with Bo Diegel, the head coach of Linton HMB, and Bo, just talk about a couple of girls you said and who you got returning, and really the two leaders of your basketball team are J.C. Richter and Tegan Shear, and just talk about what those girls bring to the basketball court each and every night.
Well, they are, like I said, going to bring our leadership. J.C. Richter is a player that is going to get her points from the outside of the three-point line, and she's also going to get her points in the arc. She's a very strong player, and she's good finishing around the hoop. And then Tegan Shear. So both these girls are 1,000-point scorers.
Yep.
So you know how much work they put in. And Tegan Shear, she's extremely lethal from the three-point line, and she's done a very good job this year at driving in and finishing herself and kicking out. So those are the strengths that we see night in and night out. Some off-the-court stuff. I mean, they're good kids. They get 4.0 grade, GPA, grade point average, and, they work hard. They don't complain.
Yep.
Which is why they've had a lot of success in their sporting careers.
And Bo, real quick before we let you go, you said now, will obviously that being a non-conference or non-district game or region game, are you going to be able to make up this game today with Central Cass or not?
It does not sound like we will make it up just because of how late in the season it is. So it's now twice that the game has been postponed, and my guess is it will not be made up.
Okay, well, unfortunately, it had been a good test for your ladies today, but unfortunately, I guess you'll just have to hope you get a crack at them in the state Class B girls basketball tournament. Well, Bo, hey, I appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck the rest of the way out. We'll be following you and see how you end up, and again, have a great rest of the weekend, and best of luck to you.
Yep, thank you. Take care.
All right, you got it. Bo Diegel, the head coach of Linton HMB. as his team, unfortunately today, is not able to play that contest against Central Cass, as that was postponed due to weather. We'll take another timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We come back, we'll talk with, he was a member of the most recent national championship team from NDSU. We'll talk with the former Demon, Brayden Thomas, back with more after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network. Hey, if you're looking for a place to watch some NFL football, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Lots of TVs, full-service menu, drink specials going on, and Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you here this afternoon. And joining me right now on the line is a former Demon in his own right, two-time All-State defensive lineman for the Demons, and now a national champion for the NDSU Bison, Brayden Thomas. Brayden, good morning, my friend. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you got it, Brayden. Well, first, hey, before we get into the path you've taken, I mean, let's take you back to Bismarck High, the hallways of Bismarck High, and just talk about the time that you had there, and really what your head football coach and what he did for you. I mean, take the folks back to Brayden Thomas as a Bismarck High Demon.
I mean, it's crazy to think that it's been 5 or 6 years already, but looking back on it, being coached by Coach Gibson and Coach Colby and that whole coaching staff has truly been an honor and a huge reason why my success has been great in college. I would tip a hat to them just for everything they've done for me and the culture they brought me up in high school. I think that helped a lot when it came to knowing that everything's like earned, not given when it comes to no matter what you're doing in life, but especially in football too. So, I mean, once you get to college, you're a freshman again, and you got to start all over and reevaluate yourself, because once you get there, everyone was the guy at their high school. Everyone was an all-state, or everyone was an all-conference or an all-district guy in high school. So everyone has the same talent level. It's just you got to take another step, and I think that step or that chip on the shoulder was created
in high school through my coaching staff. And I mean, it's just a blessing to be able to say that I came from Bismarck High.
And Brayden, maybe it's one, maybe it's two things. What were a couple things that you took from the football side of things from Coach Gibson and Coach Colby?
Just effort, 100% effort all the time in every single play. There's no play that you can go 75%. There's no play you can go 90%. It's 100% or you're off the field. And I think that transfers over to college football perfectly. And another thing is always testing the technique, always fine-tuning no matter what, no matter how good or how good you think you are, how good the film looks. There's always something to get better at. And those are a couple things that I've always leaned on through my whole college career.
Yeah, certainly. You couldn't have been coached by two better coaches in Gibson and Colby. Well, and then you take the path, and then, of course, in your own backyard, you decide to start your career at the University of Mary. You go out and play as a true freshman, and you had a pretty good season out there, and then all of a sudden, you decide to make the jump, and you go to Minnesota State Mankato. I mean, talk about that and that transition that you had to make from UMARY to Mankato, and then how hard was it when you made that transition? You had to sit out for a season. That's got to be tough for a guy as competitive as you are, and particularly on the football field.
Yeah, definitely. You come in, you're playing in high school, you're playing your first year of college. Everything's going how anyone would want it to go. And then you got to transfer, and then there's really nothing you can beat, no matter how good you are, no matter what you're able to prove or what you're able to do. NCAA rule holds you out. So, I mean, that's just something you have to take in and understand. It's nothing you can control. So I've always focused on controlling what I can control, and that was something I couldn't. So I just used that year. I had a great coach, a D-line coach out there that I was able to work with. I was able to get in the weight room a lot more, able to fine-tune a bunch of movements and a bunch of different things at the D-line. And I actually think that redshirt year helped me a lot too. It made me a lot better football player. So, I mean, it was a blessing. I mean, yeah, it was difficult, but in the end it helped.
Yeah, and then, then your sophomore season and then really your junior season, boy, the accolades started to come. You're all Northern Central Collegiate Conference second team, Division II national runner-up. And, boy, the numbers just started flowing out there. That's your junior season. And boy, what a great way to, I guess, let's just say, end your season at Mankato before you made the jump to NDSU. But talk about that junior season you had, for the Mavericks.
It was one of the most enjoyable seasons I've had playing football. I mean, I got a lot of buddies on that team that I'm still in contact with today. They came down and watched games at NDSU. We meet up whenever we can, talk weekly, just lifelong buddies. And I think that's the great thing about football. That team had some of the best chemistry on a team I've been a part of in my whole life. And when you play with a bunch of guys that have the same desire and the same goal in mind, it makes football a lot more fun. And that's what creates opportunities for everybody else in the field. So I think all those opportunities came and all those numbers started to build up. Just being able to play with the guys that are playing for the guy next to you and playing 100 miles an hour on every play. So I think that's the big reason why things started headed in the right direction towards that junior year. Yeah,
well, then they certainly did. And then your season year, you make the transition, and I'm sure there was a lot of folks I know there was a lot of folks in the Bismarck, Mandan area glad to see you come back and be a member of the Bison during a crazy time, let's just say. Unfortunately, we're still in it. But, I mean, that the season you had to go through, but really in the end it all paid off for you. As you go down, you get a chance to play in the national championship game, and you come out a national champion. I mean, you knew the success of North Dakota State and what they've done, Brayden, but did you think Brayden Thomas was going to be a national champion, when you made that switch over to NDSU?
I was confident just from going into that the first day I walked into that locker room with that team. Every single guy was, "Hey, what's up? Hey, what's your name? How you doing? What's your story?" So it kind of tells you how the guys are, how the coaching staff is, how the culture is, how the standard is, why NDSU succeeds. And you can see that just when you walk into the locker room, and it's crazy to understand that, but there's always work that has to be done, and that was how they went about every single day. We went day by day with everything at NDSU. It was never looking into the future. It was week by week, game by game, and once it started rallying up and how the chemistry was coming together in this last season in 2021, the hopes were high, but we knew we had to focus day by day. But I had a pretty good feeling that it was going to end up where it did. So.
Hey, Brayden, and certainly, I mean, the final horn sounds down in Texas, and you guys are national champions. What was Brayden Thomas's reaction when that final horn sounded and the Bison brought another trophy back to the Fargo area?
I mean, I'm going to ask this a lot. I think it's just a crazy, surreal moment. I mean, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys in my age group that have won 4 of them.
Yep.
So, I mean, you talk to those guys before the game in the playoffs, like, hey, like you talk about the moment of like going on the stage. Like that's the end of the goal. That's the end goal of the season, to walk up on the stage with your whole team. And they all talk about it like how great a feeling it is. And you're just like trying to picture it, but it's something you cannot picture or describe or feel until it happens. And when it happens, you're almost at a loss for words. It's just crazy how much work you put in and how many things you do and how many relationships you build and how hard everyone works for each other for that moment. And when it actually happens, it's something I'll remember forever for sure.
Has it sunk in yet?
Yes, slowly but surely. It's kind of been a whirlwind of stuff going on. So
yeah,
I mean, some days I think about it, and some days it's just like my mind's on a different thing.
Well, yeah, and certainly, obviously, your mind is. We're talking with Brayden Thomas from the NDSU Bison. And obviously, your mind is on something else, and it appears that Brayden Thomas is thinking of a future after college in the football field, and you get the invite to the East-West Shrine game coming up February 3rd in Las Vegas, and boy, I tell you what, Brent, when those things start coming your way, that's got to tell you that your performance on the field for NDSU, these things, brings accolades, and this has got to be one of them. I mean, what was your reaction when you found out, that you got the invite to attend this game with another one of your Bison teammates in Cordell Volson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cordell was actually my roommate, so it was awesome to be able to go there with him. But once I found out, I was just jacked. I was excited. It's another opportunity to prove myself, and that's how I look at everything. And now being granted that opportunity, it's definitely an honor and like a blessing. But it's time to get back to work and figure out what I can do to prove myself at that level, so I can enhance my chances at being successful at the next level.
Yeah, and Brayden, I mean, we got a couple minutes left with you that I know we'll let you go. I know you got some things lined up today, but I mean, what does the future look like for Brayden Thomas? Are you going to give it a couple of years and try to get to the next level? Are you hoping to get some free agent invites? If you don't get drafted, what are you hearing right now about Brayden Thomas?
I'm going to do everything in my power to get in the NFL. I don't know if that's going to be a draft grade, or I don't know if that's going to be on draft day, or I don't know if that's going to come as a free agent. But when that shot comes, I'm definitely going to maximize my potential and maximize my opportunities. So it'll come at some point. It's just going to be a matter of when, and I'm just really excited for when that does come.
Yeah, well, you should be, Brayden. Certainly, it'll be real fun to watch one of Bismarck's very own being able to take the field for an NFL football team. And Brayden, hey, I really appreciate the time this morning. A big thanks to your AD down in Fargo for Josh Peralt for lining this thing up. And hey, best of luck to you, man. Good luck in the East-West Shrine Bowl, and hopefully we can get a chance to visit with you again when you're a member of one of those many NFL football teams.
Hey, perfect. Thank you very much for having me. It's been an honor.
You got it. Appreciate it. Brayden Thomas from NDSU getting the opportunity to play in the East-West Shrine Bowl, former Bismarck High Demon. And certainly what a path he has taken to get to where he is. And it all started here at Bismarck High, through University of Mary, through Mankato, through NDSU. And now he's a national champion, and he's going to have the opportunity to display his talents to a number of scouts and coaches at this East-West Shrine Bowl, as you heard with his roommate, Cordell Volson. So certainly a lot of folks here will be tuned into that game coming up. That is, as I said, February 3rd. and that will be televised on the NFL Network, and it will be at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. We'll take a timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We come back. We'll talk with Jaden Shook, the head coach of the Bowman County girls basketball team. Back with more with Overtime after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you live in Northwest Bismarck. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network. Hey, if you're looking for a place this afternoon to watch some NFL football and into the evening, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon as full-service menu specials. Lots of TVs on both sides as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here today. Well, we switch gears now and we go from the gridiron back to the hardwood. And joining me on the line right now is the head coach of a team that snuck into the most recent girls Class B basketball poll. Jaden Shook from the Bowman County Bulldogs. Jaden, good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning. Doing pretty good. We just got down to Belfou, South Dakota, and we're going to play in a boys-girls doubleheader. So we're sitting on the bus here and down in the Black Hills.
Well, that's one thing about when you live in Southwest North Dakota, down in Bowman, you get the opportunity to sneak down and play some good South Dakota basketball teams. I mean, is this a team that certainly is successful in the state of South Dakota, and must be if you got them on your schedule?
Yeah, they certainly are. They're a Class A school, so they're a rank above us, and every year we've had them on. This will be the 5th year playing these guys, and it's a 2-2 record. The home teams are undefeated in the contest, so it's like every year you go to the home team and you hope that you can at least compete and take the crowd out of it a little bit. So yeah.
Well, certainly today, as we roll through this girls' season, I mean, we're about a month away from tournament time. But, Jaden, let's go back to the start of the season, which I like to do when I talk to coaches, and, started all the way back in early December. I mean, who'd have thought that we're already where we are? Time flies. But, you had a team coming off last year, a record of 16-7, a third-place tie in the region. And I guess talk about, what you thought, what you had in this team coming back for this 21-22 season, and I'm guessing the success they're having right now is probably not a big surprise to you.
Yeah, well, we were really excited. We had a lot of youth last year, and we have a lot of youth again this year. And our girls put in a lot of time over the summer. We got some good team camps and skill development with Coach Walker and the boys as well. And we figured we'd be pretty competitive. If you asked about our record right now, I would have been pretty shocked for some of the teams we played to be sitting at the spot we're in. But yeah, we're really, really happy. But we know what our end goal is and what we're trying to get. So, we're trying to look past the record and things like that. We have a ton of very tough region games left on our schedule, and a couple very good non-conference teams left to play. So we're trying to go, week by week. Right now it's just a grind. You got practice game, or sometimes you don't even get a practice night where you got 2 games in a row. And we play Hettinger Scranton on Monday, and that's going to be it's a big rivalry and a big region game without a day before to prep for them. And then we turn around and have Beulah on Thursday. So 2 of the top teams in the region are coming to our place. And so we gotta make sure we get games in and look past and get ready for the next one. So.
Yeah, you certainly do. As we said, all these games, the magnitude gets a little bit bigger now as we near the end of the regular season. And, you talk about your basketball team, Jaden, and boy, looking at your roster, just 2 seniors on that roster, and boy, the youth certainly is there. But one of those seniors, a young lady in Andrea Radkowski. I mean, talk about what she's meant to this program. Last year averaging 12 points, 5 rebounds. 35 steals for you last year. I mean, just talk about the leadership maybe that she's brought to this youth movement that you have down in Bowman County on the girls basketball side.
Right. Yeah. Well, she's a great leader for us, and she's just an advocate of our programs throughout the school. And so she's a great kid, and she's actually helping navigate the bus right now as we speak. So that speaks to what she does. But no, she's very coachable. She's come a long ways in 3 years, and she's starting to provide some leadership for us. So, yeah, I couldn't be more proud of Andrea and what she's meant to our girls. And the thing that goes unspoken is how she leads our younger kids. They always tell our 2 seniors that they're not scared of them this year. They're able to approach them with questions and things like that. And I feel like they can play a lot looser with these 2 leading our team. So, yeah, very, very proud of her.
And Jaden, one thing that I noticed you said in your comments that were published in the Miss Hoopster was, and certainly something that's valuable and something that maybe a lot of people try to find during the season is that as you come back, with just 2 seniors, is you talked about one of the strengths was your depth. And I mean, boy, let's face it, when you can start the season and make that comment, knowing that maybe, I don't know how many you go, but, you can go 8, 9, I don't know where you're at. Maybe you can go 10 deep. I mean, that's a big bonus in girls basketball in the state of North Dakota.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably our best strength that we have. And we're probably as deep as we thought we'd be. We get a lot of scoring off our bench, which is a huge plus that you can rotate and then hopefully keep the intensity up. And the style we play this year, we're taking a page out of the boys' playbook, and we've switched totally to a man-to-man team. So we're full court 32 minutes a game, and we're trying to keep the intensity up. Sometimes our half-court game gets a little sloppy because we're not used to playing there, and so we try to rotate as much as we can, and I think it's fun for the kids because they get minutes, and hopefully it's fun for our fans and stuff as well to play that style of basketball. So
Boy, that's funny. I used to see when Coach Walker was coaching up here in the capital city, I used to see that same blueprint when he was coaching.
yeah, for sure. No, we've kind of taken a Century Patriot model and converted it. So we like it, and it's a fun way to play for sure.
And you talk about that, and Jaden, and how did the girls adjust to that when you made that switch? That's not easy to do for young ladies.
Right, for sure. It took some time to get out. We were a 1-2-2 team for 3-4 years, and we pressed and stuff, but it's just not the same type of intensity when you go man to man. And so it took some time, 3-4 weeks, and we're still a work in progress. We got some kinks and things, little wrinkles here and there that we want to try to get ready because let's face it, when you get to the region tournament, you're not going to be able to play, 84 feet on the ball all the time. You're going to have to be able to adjust because teams, find weaknesses and scout, and so you got to be able to adjust, but hopefully keep the pressure up in another form. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and you talk about that region tournament, really, as we sit here, the 27th, less than a month away, coming up February 18th. And, as you talked about already, looking at what you got in the forefront, you talked about Henninger Scranton, you talked about Beulah, and then you talk about Dickinson Trinity. And when you look at that Region 7 and you start talking about teams in Region 7, those, including you, those are the teams that come to mind. So certainly now it's now time. You're going to really see where this basketball team has developed to.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. We're looking forward to our schedule, and then we play Glenolin and Hebron at the very last regular season game of the year. And right now they're sitting tied for first, and they got a nice group of kids this year. And I don't know. We say it all the time in our region, in Region 7, but I feel like it's just about anybody's game. It honestly is. And, we had Heart River come through last year, and they just had an amazing region tournament and dang near won the whole thing. And so they're starting to click again as well. And so you just got to be ready every night. And hopefully whatever games you play, you're competitive and you learn things for mid to late February so you can be playing your best ball then.
Well, and I'm guessing that Coach Walker has brought the old adage that any West Region boys or girls basketball coach will tell you when you interview them in December or January is they'll say, hey, you know what? Yeah, wins are important. We don't want losses, but we want to be playing our best basketball at the end of February. And I'm guessing that adage probably sets with you as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably the oldest thing in coaching is you say you want to be playing your best at the end. The question is how you do that. I guess. Do you just tell your kids not to play very good so you're playing your best, or do you, do you just keep building on things? And I think we just got to do that. Focus on the details, not throw too many new things at them, and just get better at what we do. And I think right now we're heading in that direction. We'll see. Today we have some sick kids, and we play a really good team, so we'll see really truly how our depth is today, and we hope to just compete down here and get ready for Monday as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Jaden, hey, I really appreciate the time this morning. Best of luck to you and the ladies the rest of the way out, and we'll certainly be following you as you get into that Region 7 tournaments.
Okay, well, thanks, Scott. I appreciate it, and thanks for giving our kids a chance to be recognized here, and we appreciate all you guys, what you guys do for the state too, and covering all the kids in Class B and Class A ball. So thank you very much.
Hey, you bet, Jaden. Take care. Have a good rest of the weekend, and good luck this afternoon, all right?
Okay, thanks much.
Hey,
we'll
you
talk
got it.
later.
You bet. All right, Jaden Shook, the head girls basketball coach at Bowman County, as they get set to take on Belfouche this afternoon down in Belfouche, South Dakota. We take another timeout. We come back, we'll roll into the 11 o'clock hour, and we'll talk with the head coach of the boys, Nick Walker of Bowman County. Back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you. Overtime on the PSP Network. Glad to have you aboard this morning. And, hey, again, a snowy Saturday morning here in the capital city. But if you're looking for a place to go indoors and watch some NFL football, we'll make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Full-service menu specials going on, lots of TVs, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here this afternoon. While we roll into the 11 o'clock hour and we stay on the hardwood, and joining me right now on the phone is the head coach of the Bowman County Bulldogs boys basketball team, Nick Walker. Coach, good morning. How are you this morning?
Yeah, good morning. You said it's snowing your way. I'm down in Belfouche, South Dakota. It's like 65 degrees down here, Woody. I'm not lying.
Yeah, no, it's all kind of snow going on up here, but it's certainly, and I'm not sure. They said somebody told me you're supposed to stop an hour ago. Well, it hasn't done that, so who knows how much we're going to get here today, Coach.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, Coach, hey, and I don't know. I'm guessing maybe you took a little interest last night in a game that you were a part of for a number of years. But, boy, I tell you what, I don't know that I've seen two better basketball games in West Region basketball in a long time than I've saw in the game one between Century and Bismarck High and game number 2. But, boy, what a battle. And, I mean, up and down. I mean, just an exciting basketball game. And the atmosphere was absolutely unbelievable.
Well, I watched the replay of the boys' game last night and then watched the replay of the girls' game on the way down here on the PSP. And I'm going to tell you right now that the coaches and players in Bismarck deserve just an unbelievable amount of credit for not only the job they do, but the amount of time they put in. Woody, I don't know that I've seen better basketball.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. It's been pretty good, and I think Nick, before we get into talking your team, I thought one of the things that Darren Mattern said last night when Chuck was interviewing him, he said in his you know how he is. He just said, he goes, well, Chuck, he goes, neither team can stop each other, so we don't know what. Sometimes we don't know what to do, and you know what? After he said that, I went back and I thought, you know what? He's right. He's exactly right.
I think the thing that stands out to me is the ability for kids to create their own shot, and the shot making of those kids, and how much time they put in outside of practice time and whatever to make themselves better players. I respect greatly the coaches and players that we have in the state of North Dakota.
Yeah, and certainly you're one of those, obviously coaching in Region 7, and we all know that, you know, that's kind of it gets to be a fun region, so to speak, when you get around tournament time. But Nick, hey, let's go back, obviously to the start of this basketball season. You guys coming in here, coming off of last season, a 17-5 finish, a third-place finish in the region. Obviously looking to improve on that. But maybe go back to, that December 10th when you had your first game and to where we are right now, and what kind of improvement has your basketball team been making through this process?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I'm really proud of our kids right now. Woody, we have 7 sophomores on the varsity roster right now. We have a small group of seniors and a small group of juniors. And we've had growth so far. We certainly know ourselves that we have a long ways to go. But for having 7 sophomores that have gotten varsity time and a lot of varsity time on the year, we're pretty excited where we're at right now.
And Nick, when you look at this and looking down your roster, now I know defensively what you do, and obviously talking with Jaden, it sounds like you've instituted that style in the girls program. But you got one kid 6'4", and you got another kid 6'2". I mean, offensively, what do we see? What does Bowman County like to do on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, I think we've kind of adapted. We really push the tempo now, Woody. We don't have a ton of size compared to other teams that we play. And so we like to push the tempo. We shoot a ton of threes, probably too many, but they're fun, And we've done a really good job of adapting to maybe our kids' strengths, I think. We've got a lot, if you look at coach speak right now, we're way ahead on offense than we are on defense. We've got to get way better on defense in the coming weeks if we hope to contend for the Region 7 title. But offensively, we're doing a pretty good job of sharing the ball and playing at a pretty good tempo.
And Nick, when you look at Region 7, and obviously, there's a couple ways to gauge your basketball team probably. And when you look at teams, and one of those teams is Dickinson Trinity. And, who's been a team that's been a representative in the state tournament number for many years, and Coach Grinsteiner, the job he's done there. And, you go up there early in December, get them 55-42. And then another team that really, I don't know if you saw this coming, but maybe has come a little bit out of nowhere, but Hazen, and you go, and they come down there, and they get you 70-63. I mean, was that 2 games maybe where you could gauge, where your team is? Because these are 2 teams that certainly kind of be in the limelight a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think the first time we played Trinity is 0-17 from 3. And so we kind of got lucky in that sense. We didn't defend real good that night, but they missed some shots they normally make. And then the Hazen team is a juggernaut. They got 3 guys that can fill it up on any given night, and they've got a couple role players that are playing pretty well. And Woody, I think the one thing that jumps out to me right now in our region is I think we have 6, maybe 7 teams that are going to be there in the end.
Yeah.
Glen Olin just beats Hazen by 13 on Tuesday night. Beach and Trinity play today, which will be a battle royale. And when you get to coach in a region of good players and good coaches, it's really fun and it's really competitive.
Well, it's got to be. And the one team that I didn't even talk about, and really, I mean, you haven't played him yet, but it's a team that, probably, Coach Brandt probably, expected that he was going to have a different kind of team, but maybe struggling a bit is the Beulah Miners. And you got them coming up in February, at Beulah. And so certainly, as you said, I mean, there's a lot of big games ahead of you before you get into that Region 7 Region 7 tournament.
Yeah, and I think, the one thing when you look at Beulah's schedule is that their non-region is completely very competitive. And I know they were without the Skalski kid over Christmas break for a couple of those games, who's their second best player. And whenever you have a player like Trey Brandt and a coach like Coach Brandt, you're going to be right there at the end.
Yeah, certainly. As you said, February 12th, Beulah, one of your last regular season games. And Nick, as you get set to take on this Belle Fourche team today, I mean, what is your team? What? Give me something that this team's doing really good right now, and maybe something that you guys, maybe it's more than one thing that you need to work on. As you get closer and closer to postseason play.
Well, I think one of the biggest things we're doing well right now is sharing the ball in offense. Woody, we're assisting on 65% of our makes right now. So we're doing a good job of making the extra pass, which is what you want. I think on the other side of things, we've got to foul less. We are playing a pressing and running and jumping style, but we've got to keep our best players on the floor and not have them sitting by me. And then we've got to do a way better job with being undersized and protecting our defensive backboard.
Yeah,
we're giving up too many offensive rebounds, and we know we're going to give up some with our lack of size, but we got to do a better job of trying to get more defensive rebounds so we can run and play at our tempo.
Yeah, and you talk about one of those guys, one of your leaders, Nick, Gavin Scott, coming back last year, from last year, averaging 15.5 on the season, an all-Region 7 player, and certainly a guy that's probably the leader of this basketball team on the floor.
Yeah, and off air, Woody, we were talking,
Yep.
Gavin had an off-season injury, and he just finally got cleared this week to start playing. And so we'll get Gavin back in 2 weeks. Right now, our two leading scorers are Bishop and Bowden Duffield, two sophomore twins. We talked about them during football. They're both getting over. Bowden's at 19.5 and Bishop's at 18. And so when we get Gavin back, it'll add another dynamic. Gavin's, if not the best shooter in the region, one of them. And so it'll add a completely different dynamic to our lineup.
And Nick, you talk about that, and without the addition, without having Gavin in your lineup through the amount of time that you've had, I'm guessing what that has done is probably freed up some minutes for maybe somebody that wasn't not going to get maybe a whole lot of minutes this year, and allowed you maybe to create a little bit of depth. Have you been able to do that?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what happened to us in football. We had a couple injuries that other kids had to step up and play. And this has done the same thing. We've had another sophomore kid that stepped into a starting position that's shooting 42% from three right now and doing a good job on the defensive end. And so my hope is by the time we get to the region tournament, we have 9 or 10 guys that we can put out there on the floor and then play at our tempo and play defense the way we want to and be successful when it comes down to it.
Well, and Nick, just looking at this and, and talking with Jaden and looking at your roster and his roster, I mean, boy, I tell you what, you guys got to feel pretty pleased with the future of what Bowman County basketball looks like, because I tell you what, you've got a lot of kids that I'm sure are playing a lot of minutes that have got a couple more years left in that program. And, as they continue to go on and get on the varsity level and playing these games, that just bodes success for both the boys and the girls side.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the girls coaching staff and the girls, and then I'm really proud of my assistant coaches and our boys. We have a lot of kids, both on the boys and girls side, that put in a lot of time in their game. Basketball means a lot to them, and hopefully they can reap the benefits in the future of what hard work does. I mean, you take a look at what goes on in the West region and those kids and getting to play on the stages that they do. That crowd last night, Woody, was unbelievable. And we've got some of those games coming on our schedule.
Yep.
We play 6 out of our next 8 on the road. But I'm just really proud of our girls and boys for the amount of time they're putting in to make themselves better players.
Yeah, well, certainly that all starts with the leadership and what you guys are doing down there, Nick. Hey, man, keep up the great work. Best of luck, continued success. We'll be watching you, man, as you make that journey through Region 7, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk a little bit more and do it in person up in Minot. I'm sure that's the end-all, be-all goal.
Well, and I think everybody has the same goal when they start, and if it's our year to go, we're going to have to get through the gauntlet. But I appreciate all you do, Woody, for high school sports, and having us on from Southwest North Dakota means a lot to us.
You got it. Anytime, my friend. Take care. Best of luck this afternoon, and we'll talk again down the road, my friend, all right?
Sounds good, Woody. You take care.
All right, you too, bud. Nick Walker, the head coach of the Bowman County Bulldogs, as his team gets set to take on Belle Fourche today down in South Dakota. As we talked about that gauntlet in Region 7. It's not easy to come out of there. Glenelg and Hebron, a team that we saw in that Mandan Holiday Tournament, making some noise as well. Hazen making some noise there. Dickinson Trinity, always tough when you got a coach by the caliber of Greg Grinsteiner. So certainly Beach, obviously a team that's going to battle you as well. So it should be a lot of fun to watch how that Region 7 plays out, as we get into the end of February and into early March. We'll take another time out here on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We come back, we'll talk a little bit on the frozen pond as we'll talk with the head coach of the UMARY hockey team, Dan Huntley, back with more on Overtime after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz, zzz?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you. Glad to have you aboard on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee on the PSP Network. And, hey, maybe the snow's quit a little bit on this snowy Saturday. If you're looking for a place to watch some NFL football, we'll make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Full-service menu specials going on. And number of TVs, as Danny and the staff up here will certainly take care of you here this afternoon at the Stadium Lodge. Well, joining me right now, we turn our attention to the frozen pond, and it's the head coach of the UMARY hockey team, Dan Huntley. Danny, good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Scott. How about you?
Well, things are good. Things are good, Coach. Snowy Saturday. I guess there's no better place than to be indoors. But you guys, I know we talked, before you were going to get this thing going on, and it came out for the 11th straight poll. You guys maintain that number one slot in the country at 22-4-2-1. So far, Danny, since you and I talked the first time, let's just say you guys have been on a little bit of a roll too, huh?
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. We haven't played a lot.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was going to get into that.
We played we played 2 games in the past 5 weeks, so it's everybody kind of goes through that. We're going through it right now. We came back. We had a long break before Christmas, and then we came back, played 2 in Montana, and then we came back, and we had all kinds of kids get sick. We had the influenza and a COVID positive, and so today at practice we had everybody back, and we had to cancel a couple games this past week with Jamestown's D1 team and on Wednesday, and then we were supposed to be in Colorado this weekend. So it's we're getting healthy, and we're ready to get on a little streak here to end the year.
Well, yeah, and Dan, I was gonna talk about that and looking at just what's been happening, and certainly it hasn't just been you. I know that the basketball team's run into a little bit of this and things like that. And, boy, I tell you what, it's something that we talked about a couple of years ago. We dealt with it. We thought maybe we were over it, but it's a reality, man. We're not, and it's affecting athletics at all levels. And I guess the best thing to say, Danny, from a coach, from a player, you got to deal with the best of it and make the best that you can of this whole process.
Yeah, you just hope that kids are healthy, and if they do get sick or get something comes on, or even a coach, that it's not long lasting, and we're all trying to do the right things, and those that have gone through the testing, the immunization, the boosters, all those kind of things. So it doesn't mean you're not going to get it, but you just got to deal with it when it happens.
And Dan, when you look at some of these games that you've had to postpone, I mean, what is the protocol moving forward? I mean, are these games you're going to make up? Do you not have to make them up? I mean, fill us in a little bit on that.
Yeah, the last weekend of the ranking for this year is the 11th, 12th, 13th of February. So next weekend we've got games. The weekend after we've got games, and then the following weekend we're hosting a 4-team showcase with some North Dakota teams. So the trip to Colorado is canceled. We're not going to play those. We haven't had a further discussion with Jamestown about what that looks like, if we're going to play that game again or not. They've got a really tough next 3 or 4 weeks of away schedules. So I don't know that they want to add another game in there. And so we'll figure that out. And if they don't, they don't. And it's okay. We've played them twice and beat them once and lost to them in overtime. So we feel good about where we are competing with a good team. And then we move on. And, at this point, it's, with the rankings, we've secured our number 1 seed. So we'll get a bye again to the national tournament. And, that's what we were, striving for all year.
Sure.
Was to stay out of that regional weekend, having to go and fight your way in. And so we're there, and we feel good about what we're doing.
Yeah, and you look at that, you talk about that regional weekend coming up the end of February, and then you come back and you get you put a couple games on the schedule in between that and that championship. I mean, is that just kind of keep the guys fresh and keep the feeling or the momentum going?
It is, because we're going to, assuming we weren't going to be in that regional, we'll have the weekend off before that and the next in that weekend. So we wouldn't have gone to the national tournament with a game in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know how some of these other teams can do that and think that that's putting your kids in an optimal position to go win a national championship, but they do. And, there's a lot of teams that, once that ranking period comes to an end, all the conference tournaments are done. If they don't make the regional, they just don't want to play anymore. And then once they get eliminated from that, then, you're out. But so that the top two teams, are kind of sitting there going, well, what the heck, what about us? We don't get to play. And so, I think Bottineau has pretty much got the number 2 seed. Dakota College has a 2 seed in the West locked in. And so what'll probably happen is somewhere near that weekend of the regional, we'll play. Whether that's at home or on the road for us, we just need a game. And, it'll count towards our record. It won't count towards anything else because everything else for the national tournament is set. We would be the 1 seed. They'd be the 2 seed out of the West.
Sure.
And so it's just picking up extra games at that point.
Yeah, we're talking with Dan Huntley, the head hockey coach at the University of Mary. And, Dan, you look at that last game you played January 8th out in Bozeman. Then you talked about the game you got canceled, and now you got one coming up this Wednesday against Bottineau, and you've had a chance to see the kids at practice. You got a full practice. I mean, any concerns maybe about what the let's just say the game layoff is going to be like as you take the ice coming up on Wednesday?
I don't think so. We played pretty. We had 3.5 weeks off going into the Providence Montana series, and we outscored them 11-2, and. I think that, you just got to get your goaltender some ice time. Our players were in shape. We're ready to go. I told them after we had practice this morning, we were able to pick up an hour, and I think it was our best practice in at least this year. It might be in our 4 years.
Wow.
Guys were excited to be there. The tempo was high. I think they're fresh. They're eager. They're anxious to play somebody else. And so, it's that, we had a whole week like we've been beating each other up in practice. So they're ready to go, and it's fun to see the smiles and guys trying different things. And that energy level is ready for us. So we're expecting to do great things here the next month.
Well, yeah, and you should. And, sometimes a break, as rugged as the hockey season can be, Dan, sometimes – breaks aren't so bad, but when you got a group of kids that come into a practice and are excited to be there and doing the things you need them to do and want them to do, I mean, it's got to make you feel pretty good as a coach and knowing that you've got a team that's really got one focus in mind, and that's winning another national championship.
Yeah, I think we're pretty mature. We still have a bunch of older guys that are leaders and are core of the 5 seniors that we'll lose this year, have so much experience. 2 of them with Zach Garrett and Kyler Moore, they've played 6 years of college hockey.
Yep.
So they've got a lot under their belt. They're really determined right now to be good leaders, and they're really pushing our guys to be successful. Not because it's their last go, but because they just want to go win. And they want to have other guys, set the tempo for the future of our program as well.
Yeah, as Dan Huntley got a couple minutes left. I know he's on his way up to Grand Forks. As you got a special young lady you got to go see up in Grand Forks today, huh, Danny?
Yeah, we had a granddaughter this past summer, and I know we probably won't see her again until March with our hectic schedule. So I'm excited to try to get through this snowstorm and get up there at least for 24 hours and see if we can spend some time with her as she's growing and changing every day.
Yeah,
I wish we were playing in Hockey Day, North Dakota today.
Yeah.
So we won that first one in 2018 and haven't been invited back.
Well, I'll bet you were, but I guess I'll just say, Dan, it's kind of the life of a college coach. There's sometimes you got to make sacrifices, and sometimes you got to drive through thick and thin to get to where you want to go, and that's exactly what you're doing today.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, Danny, hey, drive safe. Appreciate the time. Best of luck. Hey, let's chat a little bit more once we get closer to that national tournament, maybe even from that national tournament. All right, keep up the great work.
Would love to.
Thanks for the time, and we'll talk again soon, Danny.
Thanks, Scott.
You
Bye-bye.
got it. Take care. Dan Huntley, the hockey coach at the University. Whoops, I muted myself there. That wasn't good. At the University of Mary, as his team back in action coming up on this Wednesday, January 26th, as they continue to roll through this 22-4-2-1 overall at home. Only one loss at home, 8-1, 0-1, and on the road, even better, 11-3, 2-0. So the UMARY Marauders hockey team continues to roll through their conference and their schedule. We'll take another timeout on the Saturday Morning Sports Zone. We'll stay out at the University of Mary. We come back, we'll talk with head wrestling coach Adam Aho. Back with more after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Yeah, welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you live. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network. Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Hey, if you're looking for a place this afternoon to watch some NFL football, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Full-service menu, drink specials going on, lots of TVs. And Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here at the Stadium Lodge. While we continue to roll through another edition of Overtime, and joining me on the phone right now as we stay on the campus of the University of UMARY. Well, not literally on the campus, but it's their head wrestling coach, Adam Aho. Adam, good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Scott?
Well, things are good. And, Adam, I guess first and foremost, we got to talk about, you were scheduled to have a big duel today against the number 14th ranked Upper Iowa. You guys coming in ranked number 20, but unfortunately that's been canceled. And, Adam, your last two have been canceled. Boy, man, how have you guys – it's something, I talked to Coach Huntley about this. I've talked to Coach Newman about this. I mean, how have you been able to keep these guys, focused on what they've got to do, having to still deal with something maybe that we thought we were going to get out of at this time, but we're not, and it appears it's going to be here for a bit?
Yeah, I just try to constantly reassure to the guys to control what they can control and try not to get, let these external things try to affect, what we're trying to accomplish. Obviously, it's frustrating, but, we can only control what we can control at the end of the day, and we just got to keep trying to train and move forward.
Well, yeah, and you talk about, accomplish and what you guys have accomplished so far. I know we're in the you got a dual set up for tomorrow, but, let's talk about, going back to the start of this season. Boy, you guys have really started to roll and haven't lied. You're 7-0 and 1-0 in the conference. You got a 7-game dual streak going. Talk about the success your team has had up to this point of the season.
Yeah, it's been a really fun group of guys to be a part of. I'll tell you that. They're wrestling with a lot of confidence. Their grittiness has been unbelievable this year. I think that's kind of one of the biggest change in the this year compared to years past, that the guys aren't scared to be in close matches or in tough matches, and they're excited to be out there and competing every single time they step on the mat. And obviously winning is contagious and it's fun too. And so just the whole team atmosphere and the culture of the team is, in my opinion, has never been better. The guys are having fun. They enjoy being around each other, and they have just a really good learning attitude. And the guys are constantly trying to get better every day too, as well. So it's just a fun group of guys to be around, and they just love the challenges that they're stepping into. So it's just fun. Yeah,
and certainly, looking up and down your roster and the list of guys you have, and boy, I tell you what, it's a diverse group from all over. And as you look at that, Adam, you see a number of guys, really from the local area, and we don't need to get into, what the wrestling's like locally around town, because we all know it's pretty damn good. But maybe talk about some of those local guys that you have on your roster and what they've accomplished and done for you so far this season.
Yeah, no, well, at 133, we got a true freshman, Reese Barnhart. He's wrestling unbelievable. We knew that he had this potential, no question about it, coming in right away. But, as a true freshman, you just never know how he's going to transition. But he's done it, very well. And then at 41, we got Lakin Bays, who's in his third year, and he's really coming into his own right now. And he's wrestling some of his best wrestling I've ever seen this year, and he's wrestling with a lot of confidence. And so it's really fun to see him. And then at 97, we got Matt Taylor, we knew that he was going to be tough. And like last year, we saw towards the tail end of the last season, we knew that he was starting to hit his stride, and for sure this year he's shown how dominant he can be, and so that's been a lot of fun to see. how he's just really taking ownership of this weight class. And I think he's going to be a force to reckon with at the end of the season. So I'm really excited for these guys.
Yeah, certainly good success there. Those young men, the names that and the Barnhart name, and it doesn't surprise me that Reese is able to catch on, because I mean that wrestling, I mean that's been in his blood for a long time. Adam, went to high school with his father, obviously a couple years older than I am. So I know when you hear the Barnhart name, you're not thinking basketball. You're not thinking hockey. You're not thinking anything else. All you're simply thinking is, what mat is he on? And certainly he's done a great job. Had a great career at Bismarck St. Mary's.
Oh yeah, and when you say the Barnhart name, not only you relate to wrestling, but they're just such a great family too, and they're just great people, and they're all in too, and that's just awesome to see too. He's just, when you're talking about the total package, you don't have to worry about Reese on and off the mat. You know he's going to show up and be consistent. Just like his older brother Tate for us. I mean, he was Mr. Consistent, and that's really awesome to see. As far as like when we can get siblings of current and former wrestlers to come and wrestle for us. I mean, that's just it's a great tradition that we have here as well.
Adam, when you look at the Northern Sun, and you look at wrestling, and you look at the Northern Sun, and you talk basketball, and we all know how that conference is. I mean, how damn good that conference is in the basketball. But when you look at the Northern Sun in wrestling, my gosh, I mean, you got the duels that got canceled was, a week ago, you're supposed to wrestle number 2 St. Cloud. Then you're supposed to take on number 14 Upper Iowa. You guys are number 20. I mean, this is a pretty damn good wrestling conference, is it not?
Yeah, and top it off, tomorrow we wrestle Parkside, who I believe is in the top 10 ranking right now. And then, and then next weekend we wrestle Minnesota State Mankato on a Saturday, who's like number, I don't even know, what are they, number 12? I'm not too up to date on all the rankings sometimes. But,
right.
But as far as just in the top 20, I believe we have like 6 or 8 schools in our conference that are ranked in the top 20. So you look, just speak of that, for example. I mean, it's pretty. In every sport in our conference. I mean, I know volleyball, basketball, football, I mean, they're all good. And that's what's fun to be a part of this conference. Like if we're compared to a Division I conference, we always say it's the Big Ten of D2 wrestling is what we're in right now.
Yeah.
And that's what we love about it. Every match every duel that we have, the guys, it's easy to get the guys excited to wrestle because they know it's going to be a contested duel and it's going to be fun. And we want these heated rivalries and competitions to get us ready for the postseason.
Yeah, and we're talking with Adam Aho, the head wrestling coach out at the University of Mary. And Adam, when you talk about the postseason, you've got the Super Region 5 coming up the end of February. Then you've got the D2 National Championships. And when you look at that postseason, obviously the end-all be-all is the D2 National Championship from a team side. But from an individual side, Adam, I mean, what can the folks, do you think, in the Bismarck-Mandan area and for that matter, the state of North Dakota, what is your expectation to see the number of guys that you're able to place in this, which actually takes place in Moorhead coming up March 11th and 12th?
Obviously, I mean, if every one of our guys shows up and wrestles well, I truly believe we could. It's a bold statement, but, I think we've got 10 guys that could be competitive and potentially get there. But, I mean, for example, 125, there's 5 guys ranked in the top 8 in the country from our conference. So, and they only take the top 3. So put that in perspective. So two nationally ranked guys aren't going to be qualifying for the national tournament at that weight class. So there's certain weight classes that are going to be harder than others. But, I would say, man, the most we've ever qualified is 3 for the D2 championships. But I think we got at least, good 7 guys that, if we wrestle extremely, really well, that have a really good shot. I mean, and I know if we put a good weekend together, like a few years ago, our heavyweight Lalo, or we call him Lalo, Gerardo Jaime, he was unseeded going into the tournament. He ends up qualifying. So we got guys in our team that may not catch a seed right away, but I know they have the potential to put themselves in that 3rd and 4th place match to give themselves an opportunity to qualify, because only the top 3 from each weight class qualifies for the national tournament. So that's how competitive our region is.
Yeah, and that's what makes it fun. And when you talk about that, when you say that and you put that in perspective, is that in that particular weight class, there's a couple of guys that could potentially maybe go on to win it. But as you said, I mean, they're going to be sitting at home. They're not going to get a chance to wrestle in it. And I mean, that in its own right is a pretty bold statement about how good this conference is.
Oh yeah, every single year you see a returning All-American not qualify for the national tournament. It's out of our region. I mean, just because of how competitive it is. Yeah, you have to show up on the right day, put your best effort out there. I mean, a lot of guys at the region tournament aren't feeling the greatest. I mean, you just never know who's going to show up, and that's what's exciting about it.
Yeah, well, tomorrow you've got University of Wisconsin Parkside. You're back at the MAC coming up next Friday. Southwest Minnesota State comes to town. Folks, if you get a chance, get out and watch these guys wrestle. Is certainly a lot of good local talent and just a lot of talent overall on this wrestling team. Adam, hey, man, appreciate the time as always. Best of luck. Hope we get a chance to talk to you again. And good luck to you guys, you and the team tomorrow out in Kenosha, Wisconsin, all right?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott.
All right, you got it. Adam Aho, the head wrestling coach at the University of UMARY, as they get set to take on University of Wisconsin Parkside tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We'll take another timeout on the Saturday Morning Sports Zone. When we come back, we'll talk with the executive director of the North Dakota High School Activities Association, Matt FETSCH, back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Yeah, welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Glad to have you aboard on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee as we are live in Northwest Bismarck. And if you're looking for a place to watch some NFL football this afternoon, hey, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Lots of TVs, both sides, full-service menu specials going on, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here at the Stadium Lodge. Well, we round out the show. We roll into our next guest, and I guess you could use the terminology. We save the best for last, and joining me right now is the Executive Director of the North Dakota High School Activities Association, Matt FETSCH. Matt, good morning. How are you this morning?
Morning, Scott. I'm well. I'm got the snowblower fired up and ready for the next wave headed our way here in Valley City.
Yeah, the question is, you got enough gas in case you run out, Matt?
I do now. Yeah, I'm loaded for bear, and it's kind of a mess over here every time the wind blows. So we're definitely envious of those in the western half of our state.
Yeah, well, certainly, Matt. Before we get in, I know some decisions were made this week, but certainly, it just seems like that we ended, with those fall sports. And, boy, I tell you what, we're already almost at the end of January, and before you know it, there's going to be a lot more state tournaments coming up as things have flown by fast. And overall, Matt, I mean, how have things been for you guys in your office? As far as I know, that the COVID is still running a little rampant, the influenza and all that stuff. I mean, and it seems like, are you seeing maybe more cancellations and postponements than maybe you expected?
No, I don't think so. In all honesty, like I said, particularly in the eastern part of the state, the weather has wreaked more havoc than anything here since New Year's. On the COVID front, in all honesty, fall and winter sports in particular have been pretty minimally impacted. And you mentioned influenza A. That was the thing we've been starting to hear more and more from our member schools that's probably having a bigger impact on them than anything health related. So it's something that, unfortunately existed before COVID and schools have dealt with for 100 years. So it's just something that do the best you can to navigate.
Yeah, absolutely, and certainly let's hope that it holds off so we can get our tournaments completed. But, Matt, I know that really for you guys, I'm sure the hot topic has kind of been, the classifications and the football rankings and seedings and regions and things like that. I know this week you guys met and made some decisions, and I guess you've come out with the 2022 football regions. I mean, What is the status, or where is this classification at, as we sit here and talk today and going into 2022 and, for that matter, 2023, as I know you've got some of those published as well. I mean, can you, Phil, get us up to date on where we're at with this whole football realignment?
Yeah, just real briefly, for about a generation, when the state of North Dakota went from 3 divisions of football to 4, football classifications have been done 2 years at a time.
Sure.
Teams were locked in, and there was really very little movement one year, and then major movement the next year. And I tell you what, in the office, you mentioned tournaments, and Martin Luther King Day is kind of a magical holiday for us, because from that point on, almost all of my staff is exclusively in winter tournament mode, helping prepare for those. And prior to the last couple of years, that meant a little break from talking about football at least every other year.
Right.
And something that the board of directors, and in particular what was the football committee, now the realignment committee, they looked at trying to reduce that major overhaul every 2 years and try and make football a little bit more like every other sport and activity, where adjustments were made as needed on an annual basis. And I think they knew going in to that change that it was going to take a few years for things to shake out and for the stability, if you will, a little bit as far as division placements and so on. And it's just something working through. We're now, like I said, it normally would be a year off from talking about football at a January meeting, but it's just something that really is going to be discussed probably at every meeting moving forward.
Yeah, and Matt, as you look at obviously as you look in coming into 2022 and really I'll go back to last year and when we saw what happened obviously with Fargo Davies and the whole thing there. I mean, what is going to be the protocol as you get into 2022 and how we determine who those playoff teams are and how many and where? Because I know the way it was set up, X amount from the East, X amount from the West, and boom, and that eliminated Davies. I mean, where does that stand for 2022?
Yeah, and that was probably the major change made this past week, and something that Class A schools in particular have been talking about throughout the fall and since, and just took some extra time to talk through it. But last year, the QRF, which is a ratings formula, was used to seed those 8 teams that qualified for the playoffs. And the change that'll be implemented next year is 11 AA, for example, there's 11 teams. The top 8 teams in the QRF will be the playoff teams, and it will also seed them. So the region they played in will be irrelevant. It'll just be a mechanism to rank all teams statewide and attempt to get the top 8 in the playoffs. And it is something that football committee actually had suggested over a year ago, actually in the spring of 2020. And at the time, the feedback was, stick to regions and make sure it's solved on the field and so on. And then after this past year, it was reassessed. And I think the shift a little bit to try something different. And I don't know that playoff qualification and seeding is so much to do with it, but it was really more to help them out with scheduling, to allow for some 11 AA and 11A teams to play each other that, maybe natural rivals or geographically fit. And it hopefully gives the athletic administrators a lot more flexibility when finalizing schedules moving forward.
Yeah, and Matt, when you look at the scheduling and you look and particularly on the 2A and the A side of things, and I guess when you look at the West, you got 2, 4, 7 teams, and out there you've got 4 teams. I mean, is this going to be a statewide schedule? I mean, is Davies and Bismarck going to play in Fargo? I mean, or is that yet to be determined?
I think our athletic administrators are finalizing that as we speak. They've had several drafts available, and there's a lot of very smart individuals working at it and putting a lot of time in there. And again, looking for that stability. So to answer your question, I don't know, but my assumption is it'll probably be a little bit of a hybrid of that as far as what schools prefer. If, Century prefers, for example, traveling to Fargo a few times to play a Metro team versus a team in the West that's in 11A, they'll have that opportunity. So I think just the change to the QRF qualification opened up so many possibilities there and gave a lot more local control, if you will, to how teams schedule.
Yeah, we're talking with Matt FETSCH, the executive director of North Dakota High School Activity Association. Matt, one other thing that I noticed on this 2022 football regions is that it looks like has the season been bumped up a week? I mean, it always, if I remember, it seems like the first game has always been the end of August, and now the first allowable game is August 18th. And if so, I mean, what was the reasoning for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, it is a little bit of a change at the Class A level. That actually mirrors what Class B was doing last year and previously. And basically what it does, again, help with that scheduling piece, because in the Class A, let's say Class A, but 11 AA and 11A, there's an odd number of teams right now with Horace High School coming in. So that extra week it's almost like a 0-week opportunity. So teams will still be able to play their 9 games. It'll just give them 10 weeks to do it. So it basically, teams will have a bye, but by having the buys, it's not shorting anyone a 9th game. So it was just done to ease scheduling. My guess is some teams will play that weekend, and then others will not. So again, they'll just try and work it out and then help everyone out statewide, get a full schedule.
Certainly is. And the other thing, Matt, that I noticed too is obviously I know another hot topic I'm sure has been is the buzz around the local area here is now we're seeing St. Mary's go back into 2A and from Class A and now they're back in with Bismarck and Century and certainly, I mean, and what was the reasoning for them to have to make that move back into 11-2A?
Yeah, it's a good question as well. And one of the components of the new football guidelines that been in effect now for over a year is that it includes a success factor where teams that are successful over an extended period of time and a point accumulation process where if they reach a certain point, it bumps them up to the higher division for a couple years. And then there's a mechanism there as well. After a couple of years that potentially can allow them to go back depending on how things shake out. So it's something new, a new concept, and like anything new, it's to be determined, how it works out and how schools like it statewide after being exposed to it a few years. I've kind of joked, and it is very accurate. With football in particular, there's two things our member schools don't like, and it's the way things are now and change. And so it's just a constant balancing act for my board of directors. And but it will give a little different look from time to time. And it's something that, again, was part of the original guidelines when they were developed, and something that said over time will be evaluated, and whether or not it ever would carry over to other activities, I don't know, but it's just something that it is what it is right now, and we'll see. We'll be a lot smarter a year from now with how it worked out.
And Matt, real quick before I let you go, when you look at this, and I knew about this success factor, and I guess my question is when the new conferences were realigned, and how far back does this success factor go as far as performance is concerned?
Yeah, and it goes back right now 4 years. So it goes back to previous divisions, if you will.
Okay.
And it's something my board of directors this fall realized they needed clarity on. So they had a handful of meetings regarding that and ultimately made that decision. And it's not a unanimous one. I'll be very honest on that. There's strong opinions one way and another. And again, something that as a full board, a decision was made for what they felt was best for all schools across the state.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out coming up in 2022. But before that, Matt, we got a lot of other state champions to crown, a lot of basketball tournaments to get through, and certainly we're looking forward to doing that. Matt, I appreciate the time as always this morning. Keep up the great work that you guys do, and we'll talk to you again, I'm sure, probably coming up in the next month in the gym somewhere. I don't know where it's going to be first, but I imagine it's going to be somewhere in the western or eastern part of the state.
It will be. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of each other here over the next couple months, so looking forward to it.
All right, Matt. Hey, good luck with the snowblower this afternoon, all right?
Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks, Scott.
You got it. Matt FETSCH, the Executive Director of the North Dakota High School Activities Association. As there you have it, the 2022 football preliminary regions. Davie, Shanley, Cheyenne, West Fargo, and 11A East. Century, Bismarck, Legacy, Mandan, Minot, St. Mary's, Williston, 11-2A West. And we said the first practice August 4th, the first game August 18th. The 11A East looks like this: Devils Lake, North-South, Central, Red River, Valley, Wahpeton, and now Horace. The 11A West includes Dickinson, Jamestown, Turtle Mountain, and Watford City. So certainly it's going to be interesting to see how that discussion continues over the next few years and how this these football regions continue to break out. Well, that's going to put a wrap on another edition of Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. I want to thank all of our guests this morning: Bo DIEGEL from Linton HMB, Brayden Thomas from NDSU, Jaden Shook from Bowman County, Nick Walker from Bowman County, Dan Huntley from UMARY, Adam Aho from UMARY Wrestling, and to Matt FETSCH from the North Dakota High School Activities Association. Reminder today, coming up on the PSP Network, it'll be high school hockey, Mandan and Legacy. Todd Domrys and Lane Seddy, we will have the call for you on that one. And then it'll be boys basketball. Mandan will travel up to take on the Magicians, and Nick Holberg will have the call for you on that one. Our next action locally on the PSP Bismarck side, well, that'll be coming up Tuesday, where Todd Domrys and myself will be over in Mandan for Legacy and Mandan. I want to thank all of our sponsors on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, and until next time, Scott Woodmansee saying so long from the Stadium Lodge.
This has been a presentation of the PSP Network. We thank you for listening to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, live from the stadium.
Make sure to head to the social media platforms for the PSP Network to like and follow to stay up to date with all things sports in Western North Dakota. PSP Network, it's game day.